All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? That's kind of weird. I'm having some weird stuff going on in my head. Like my intro. I'm hearing my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Oh, I can hear it now just slightly, yeah.
All right. What in the world is happening? What in the world? It's echo, echo, echo.
Do you have YouTube opened up already, or maybe?
That's what it is. I've got YouTube up. Yay, I don't have YouTube up no more.
Look at me, guys.
Echo.
I'm now a tech wizard. Sign me up.
So, guys, I've been sicker than a dog for like 2 weeks. All right. So please give me a moment. I might make a mistake here and there. Okay. Because my brain is still got a little foggy and I'm not used to going live. You know, we've done this just only a couple times. I think the last time we went live, it was Loyalist that did it for the live show, live game reaction. So, you know, shout out to Loyalist here. But guys, hopefully this is day one of feeling better for myself. So if it is, awesome. And we'll continue to bring you great content. But I know you saw the thumbnail, and I only called it that thumbnail because, well, almost every sporting book, analyst, reporter, anything outside of Colts Nation has Sam Ehlinger now the worst starting quarterback in the NFL listed as. And it's fair. You know, it is a fair assessment, being that, you know, he has never taken a snap, you know, to throw the football or something like that. You know what I mean? In a regular season NFL game. So this is something a little bit different for the Indianapolis Colts. The only thing I think is a bit odd is that these same people that had these lists ended up having like Ritter being like ninth in the NFL at quarterback or some crap like that when, you know, they listed before the season started, you know, when they had these rookies, you know, way up high and you're like, what? You know, come on, how can you do that? But the news hit and it threw Colts Nation on its head. It threw the NFL on its head. It threw the team on its head, right? Because even most of the players didn't even know what the heck was going on until it happened. So I understand why there is that shock value of listing Sam as the 32nd worst quarterback in the NFL. But let's actually analyze what he can bring and what he may not bring to the team. Now, Chuck, I know that there are some things that you want to talk about before we get into that. Overall, just kind of address a few of the things that are up in the air, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor to do that right now.
All right, guys, listen. I'm going to try to I got to get this out. I'm pissed. Just be honest with you. I don't like the way this was dealt with. All right. I just don't. Okay. I love Jim Irsay. I have supported Jim Irsay. I lived through Irsay being a GM, guys. I remember what that was like. I do not want to go back there. I love Irsay's passion. I love the way, you know, but this was an Irsay driven thing. And the thing is I just don't get it. We sat there and we signed Matt Ryan to just a tick under 54 million over 2 years. Okay. And we give him 7 weeks. We give this man 7 weeks, and then all of a sudden we pull him. I have a problem with that, okay? I get it. Matt Ryan, turnovers. I understand all that, okay? Lawrence, what was our best win of this year to this date?
The Kansas City game, in my opinion.
Really? See, now me personally, I'm looking at that Jacksonville
Jaguars.
game, okay? Mm-hmm. And that Kansas City, I should say, what's the best win offensively? Okay, Kansas City was much more of a defensive win.
It was, but I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, I get you. I understand most people are going to say the Jaguars because we threw up over 30 points in that game.
Yeah, we put up points. And the thing is I'm not making judgment on Sam. Okay. I am absolutely not. But what I will tell you is Sam is not going to complete 72% on 58 pass attempts this year. Okay. It's just not his game. It's not going to happen. Okay. So you're going to lose that game by making this choice. Okay. You're going to lose the ability to come back when you're down by 3 scores. Because Sam Ehlinger, he might lead you one charge for a comeback game-winning charge. I don't put that past him. Okay. But now the flip side of this is, would you have been in those positions if it wasn't for the turnovers? And everybody's like, well, Sam Ehlinger doesn't have a history of turning the ball over. Neither did Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan he was not this massive turnover machine. This team did not fill their half of the bargain. And I have a real problem with that. Okay. I would have much rather sat there and said, you know what? We got to see what we got with Sam. You know what I mean? But no, it's basically, Matt Ryan's done. Matt Ryan's not going to play for this team anymore this year. Matt Ryan, as a Colt, his career's probably over. And guys, honestly, this may even end his career, period. And I have a problem with that because you know what? A lot of the wins and the making some of these games close came because of Matt Ryan. Last year, we sat there and watched a lot of wins happen in spite of Carson Wentz. This year, we're seeing a lot of these wins come because of the quarterback position. Okay? And my thing is, Sam Ehlinger, everybody's acting like it's either boom or bust with Sam. Everybody's acting like there's no way we're going to be stuck in mediocrity. Like, for some reason, we're guaranteed with the Matt Ryan. That's horse malarkey, okay? This is a team game, all right? Sam Ehlinger is more mobile, undoubtedly. Sam Ehlinger has the it factor. Whatever that is, you can't put, okay? Sam Ehlinger is unknown. Those things are assets for Sam, okay? But when you sit there and you look at the 15 years of leadership, some of the plays and the drives that were sustained by this offense under Matt Ryan, I just feel like he's getting a short end of a stick. And like I said, I'm going to put this out there, get this out. I'm not going to be like some of these other guys that sit there and just poop all over the team for the rest. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it friendly. I'm going to say my piece, and then I'm going to support Sam, just like the teammates are. That is what, but I have to sit there and say, the wrong questions are being asked, okay? If this was so driven by Irsay, that's a huge problem, guys. That's a huge problem. We've seen it with Jerry Jones in Dallas, okay? We've seen what it looks like when you get an owner. And like I said, to me, the owner, you have control over that whenever you sign the GM, whenever you hire the head coach. That's when you have control over what happens with this team, okay? But after that, your job as the owner is, and it's Irsay's money. I get it. He can do whatever he wants. But it's the Colts. It's the Colts. What do you want to call it? Salary cap. It's the Colts salary cap, okay? If you weren't going to give Matt Ryan more than 7 weeks opportunity to make this happen. And, by the way, the offensive line has only played the damn. Yeah, one game. One-ish, maybe, if you want to give him a little credit for last week. Prior to that, the problems were, Matt Ryan, the offensive line. Matt Ryan and the running game, or lack thereof. And the thing is, I just feel like this is being used as an opportunity to sit there and not address the situation. This is sort of that smoke and mirror thing. And I get it. I want to see what we got with Sam. Give him 10 weeks. You get a good evaluation. But tell us that. Don't just sit there and sign Matt Ryan to this massive 2-year obligation and then act like after 7 weeks, we're done with it. It's a failure. It's not a daggone failure. Okay? The quarterback play was much better than what we got from last year as a whole. I am not excluding, I am not overlooking the bad interceptions and the poor ball control. So a lot of that is if Matt Ryan ain't running for his life or getting turned into the human ping pong ball, some of those fumbles at least wouldn't be nearly as bad.
Yeah, well, okay, so just jump in real quick.
All right, please do.
Matt Ryan was not as bad as what a lot of people want to say. I mean,
Mhm.
his turnovers were terrible. We will go there. If it wasn't for his turnovers, I think Matt Ryan would be considered a top 10 quarterback. Because most of his primary numbers were top 10 in the NFL. Yardage was top 5, completion percentage, top 10, things like that. The important stuff was actually really, really good. But the problem is you can't sit here, and average 3+ turnovers a game,
Mhm.
right? That's the problem. And you said it yourself. Matt Ryan wasn't even known for that, before now. I mean, did he have some turnovers occasionally? Absolutely. But, it wasn't in bunches and something that, just kept to prolong more and more and more. Obviously, some of that had to do a little bit with the offensive line and the fact that he was hurried, but there was other situations, where you got to be able to adapt to your situation. And I think the thing that's going on right here was I don't think Ryan had the physical ability to adapt to the situation that the Indianapolis Colts currently were facing at the quarterback position, where you need to be able to get rid of that, either get rid of the ball really, really fast every stinking time, which you can't do that every down, right? You can't, otherwise you're going to have 11 players 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage every snap. You got to be able to move around,
Yeah.
right? You got to be able to move and extend the play occasionally. I think that is the biggest reason why Sam Ehlinger right now is the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. Hoping that maybe his mobility will lower the turnover situation, because that's legitimately what has cost the Colts almost every game that they have lost this year. And even almost lost us games that we've won, was through turnovers. So if we could cut those turnovers in half or less, holy crap, I think the Colts would be great. Now, the problem with Sam Ehlinger is he has so much to prove, right? So much to prove. But, the big question, why go with Sam over Nick Foles, right? At that point. And I understand you want to look for the future right now.
Yeah.
And if Sam is the guy for you, you're giving him the Nick Foles ain't going to be the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts for the next 10 years. That's what the Colts are looking for right now. They still want to win in doing so, though. So if Sam is that guy, great. This is his opportunity. If he fails and does not, show that he could be that guy over the next 4, 5, 6 games, you might see Nick Foles become the starter for the quarterback for the Colts. It legitimately could happen. But I think it's already been said that we're not going back to Matt Ryan, for the rest of the season.
And that's the part I have a problem with, because honestly, like I said, if he was only going to be given 7 weeks, such a short leash, then why even make the move? Why not just sit there and go through the growing pains with your young quarterback and have Nick Foles back him up and just give him the year? You know what? You could use that $53 million maybe to improve your offensive line that has just sold out your quarterback so far.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he has. I mean, I love our O-line, okay? But I'm sorry, Quentin Nelson, all of them, they have not performed to the level that we expected as fans going into this thing. And the thing is if that leash was so short, then why even spend 53.9 million is the number for Matt Ryan. That's a massive number. I would argue that there is some holes you could have filled with that money and still find yourself, with Ehlinger having 7 weeks more experience than we has now.
I don't think, and here's the thing, okay? There's a lot of people out there, and I see you, Scott. You're not the only one out there that has that thought process. He sees it as it is testing Sam, but at the same time, he thinks it's tanking. And from the people I've talked to in the organization, and I talk to a lot of people throughout the week, even though I've been sicker than a dog this week, it doesn't take much to text people, right? This ain't tanking at all. They honestly think that Sam could give us enough juice and a little bit different ability to where we could get our games back on track, right? And that we could still win the division. Their goal is still to win the division. Frank Reich, Jim Irsay, and Ballard and all the players still feel like they can win the division, even though they're a game behind or game and a half, however you want to look at it, being, that it's being swept. But yes, they still feel like they can win the division with Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. Now, there's going to be some bumps in the road along the way, because you're not going to have a guy who has never, been in this situation come in, especially at quarterback, and not have those bumps. But now's the time. If you're going to have a time to have bumps, have it against a team like, no offense, Washington fans, but you're one of the teams that I wouldn't mind having those bumps early on against, right? I'd rather have the bumps early on against you than, say, the Chargers, okay? Or, later on, or the Raiders or something like that. I would rather, go in and have that situation against teams that we could legitimately win with our defense. Our defense has been our defense and special teams for the most part this year, has been that half of the team that has kept our entire game like close against every week against every team that we play. It's our defense. And it's okay to push and lean on them for a couple more games, I think, and be like, hey, we're rolling out Sam, and they got to have a little bit of time to get this, down, wide receivers get the quarterback down, and offensive line understand how he's going to move through the pocket and things of that nature. So the defense might have to play at a more higher echelon for a little while they get a little bit, settled in with themselves. And then hopefully they do, and we'll start to see a little bit more from them. But first, we got to see what is even available this Sunday, right? Can Sam throw the football further than 35 yards, accurately, and not make it a rainbow to where, every defender, including defensive tackles, can run up underneath of it and catch it. That's what I'm worried about. Okay. Can he, with Matt Pryor being 6'12" at right guard and 6'5" Quentin Nelson, sitting there, can Sam see around the shoulders of these big dudes and be able to make plays and move the football that way without having to leave the pocket? That's something else. Now, Sam is not as small as Kyler Murray, okay, or Russell Wilson. I think he's still taller. He's 6 foot, right? That's what I understand.
6'1".
Yeah, 6'1". So he's got a little bit of height over those guys, but he's still on the shorter end of the quarterback market. All right. So we'll see what happens. I like to consider myself cautiously optimistic in this situation,
Okay. I got to bring this up because I respect the heck out of White Law. And, he's watched us quite a long time. And he says, how much more physical abuse do you want Ryan, before, that you're good with? That's the point. I'm not good with any of it, but I'm not good with sitting there and throwing a young, unknown. Okay. I would argue that Matt Ryan is going to protect himself with his 14 and a half years worth of experience better than what a young quarterback, yes, he's mobile, but that doesn't mean he's invincible. That doesn't mean he can dodge bullets. If this offensive line doesn't play better, I don't want to sit there and throw Sam Ehlinger at this. Now, all that being said, to me, the problem is the O-line. That's where you got to fix it, okay, and then work your way out, because that's how this team's built, okay. And like I said, I've said my piece about the situation. I don't like how it is handled, but I am going to sit there and support these guys. And yeah, there are some upsides and some intriguing parts to Sam, okay. But the thing is everybody's acting like, oh, he's going to come out and. Guys, we've heard it for how many years now through this rotation of quarterbacks? They got to have time to acclimate. Sam Ehlinger hasn't even thrown a pass in practice. This was stated by Michael Pittman Jr. It's been over a year since he had caught a pass from Sam Ehlinger. Your number one wide receiver. It's been over a year since he's caught a pass from him in practice even.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's acting like he's going to come out and have all the answers. And I'm like, he's going to have one answer, and that's that mobility. And that's the, oh, God, let me get out of there again. Is that something that you're going to sit there and build a playoff push off of? I'm just saying, you know what? Don't dump on Matt Ryan, because you will. There is a possibility you may need him, especially if you get into the playoffs. If you get into the playoffs, I'm like, and this offensive line has shown to correct some of these things and stuff, then I'm back like, okay, look, Matt Ryan has had time to step back, see things from a different perspective. But I'm telling you right now, I am happy to sit there and say, let's see what we've got from Sam and give him the 10 weeks, and I'll support that. But the thing is everybody's acting like Matt Ryan's hot garbage. Literally, like that following Monday morning, we hear Matt Ryan doesn't have any arm strength. Matt Ryan, is a statue. He's not a statue. He just ain't dodging all those bullets at once. Okay.
No,
he's not. I mean, granted, some of those passes in the second half looked a little lackluster. Call me crazy, but maybe a separated or sprained shoulder or whatever might have had just a little something to do with that. You know what I mean?
Separation. Yep.
So it's like, I'm on board with it. Let's let's run this thing. And I'm like the players. It is what it is. It's out of my control. But I just sit there and think the fact that everybody's acting like there's no chance of us still remaining mediocre with Sam at quarterback, I would argue that it's a better chance, because Matt Ryan, everybody acts like that 14 years of experience just has no value to it. And I'm sorry, 14 years experience versus no experience. Okay. I'm going to go with that 14 years experience all day, every day, as long as the quarterback shows the ability to make something. Matt Ryan's had 3-4 games over 350 yards this year.
Well said, he's top 5 in the NFL in yards passing.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of problems, and I don't think that the quarterback was the answer to it. I like that. Hey, let's see what we got with Sam, so we don't go in next year going, what do we got as, what is Sam? Is he, now we're going to get a test and evaluate and see what we got. And I'm on board with that. I just don't like the way that the Matt Ryan aspect of this has been handled, because to me personally, they ought to be thanking Matt Ryan. And you are from the coach. You are hearing that from the coach and the players. But I sit there, when I'm saying these statements, I'm more guiding my, towards Ballard and Irsay. It's like, look, guys, you brought him in for this massive investment and gave him 7 weeks. Oh, by the way, you have the best start that you've had under this regime at 3-3-1. Is it impressive? No. Is it what we were hoping for? Absolutely not. But the thing is he has kept you in play. He has kept you with the opportunity to achieve all your goals. And if you don't fix that offensive line, okay, if you don't get better blocking across the board, offensive line, tight ends, it's not going to be a true evaluation of what you even have with Sam. Because all you're going to get from Sam is oh, he's a good track athlete. Oh, he can run for his life. Oh, and people are sitting there comparing him to, and this is bothersome to me, they're comparing him to, to Jalen Hurts from the Eagles. And I'm like, guys, yes, he's more mobile than Matt Ryan. He's not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is more established. Jalen Hurts is a better arm. Now, I will tell you, totally impressed, hands down, with the difference from year 1 to year 2 from Sam Ehlinger. And that is the exciting part of this. That's the part that I'm like, man, I can't, if he made that jump there, what is he really going to look like with these ones and with the rotational players and stuff. Can't wait to see, and very interested. I just think that making this move here and just shutting the door on Matt Ryan, I don't like the shutting the door part. Okay. I don't like to sit there. And if you made that commitment, does that mean that your owner is not on the same page with your GM and your head coach? And that's things that I see that draw concerns to me, because let's be honest, Irsay is the guy that signs the checks. He just signed both Reich and Ballard to these extensions.
Last year.
Yet now you're undermining, or that's a harsh word. I apologize. But now you're overriding some of
what they're saying.
Their
own decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, guys, that is not a path to success. And I love Irsay. I love his passion. I love hearing the 2 Super Bowls. I'm on board for all that. But this, to me, is where you don't want emotion making this. I want emotion on my defense. I want emotion from my offensive line. I do not want emotion and decisions being made that way from the front office and the ownership.
So I'm going to tell everybody that this might have been a shock to a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you, this has been in the works for more than this. This just didn't make a decision this past Sunday.
Well, that can't be possible, because Mr. Irsay was just on with Ian Rappaport talking about how he's a steely-eyed missile guy. The optics, guys, the optics just, I mean? It's like, how are you saying this? And then literally you've already got, like you said, you already had the wheels turning on.
Yep, they did. I mean, they put Sam Ehlinger at backup quarterback number 2 right after the last loss that we had, right? And we were all like, what's going on here? Well, I'm telling you that bun has been in the oven cooking with that decision since then. Mm-hmm. To have Sam sitting there in the ready, learning. Now he's going to be, throwing with the 3s, 4s, 5s, and guys like that. Yes, he's not going to be throwing with, your number 1 and number 2 receivers, because your main quarterback is doing that. Mm-hmm. But he's over here learning the playbook now. He's over here learning how the offensive line works and stuff. Like, he's learning a bunch over that period of time. So this was not a decision that a lot of people seem to think just happened on the drop of a hat, because we look so bad against the Titans. This is something that's been brewing for the last couple weeks. This is something that, honestly, if you want to be honest about it, Sam Ehlinger was getting a ton of love last year. Mm-hmm. Unwarranted. Okay, yes. Absolutely. And the thing is, in white law, that would be an assumption that I can't make about Matt Ryan and retirement and stuff. So I don't want to, but my thing is that love affair with Irsay and Ehlinger was there from the giddy up. Okay. And like I said, you just sat there and hyped this guy up to us all offseason. I'm talking about Matt Ryan now. You're hyping this guy up to us. And I was even on board with putting him as your number 2. And if you needed to mix him in or something, ease him into this thing. But now the injury is maybe fast-tracked that a little bit. Okay, fine. That's your situation. You got Nick Foles. You get to find out. But why in the world are we shutting the door on a 15-year vet that clearly has the knowledge and the leadership ability, okay, to sit there and help this team? Help this team with, Sam, or insert name from next year's draft, or whatever. You know what I mean? Why are we sitting there and dumping on this guy like he's the blame for everything? And like I said, you're not hearing that from the team. I love the heck out of Matt Ryan, Sam Ehlinger, Coach Reich. They're doing the best with a messy situation. And that's why I said, I don't think the right people are being asked the right questions. I want to hear Irsay, Ballard, and Reich all, sit there, look, okay, can you explain this to me? Mr. Irsay, why were you out here saying this and then doing this? And I just, it's problematic, guys. It's problematic. And I get it. Jim Irsay's team, he can do whatever the heck he wants. All right. I just want you guys to know where I'm coming from. I'm going to sit there and still evaluate this from a positive point of view. But if I didn't sit there and get this out,
it was going to carry over, and I was going to be like a lot of these other guys that were dumping on the team that we all, I can argue, is we love, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, the knowledge, the leadership, the greatness that is Matt Ryan is showing right now as he sits there and does everything he can to help Sam become the best version of himself for this Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Because he's out there working with the coaches, working with Sam, trying to get everything good. And that's a great thing. I mean, granted, we didn't pay him $50-some million a year to do that, but you know, that's his role now. Right. That is his role now. And you always do whatever role. This is what I'm told by every player, whether they're a starter or, you know, the 53rd guy on the roster. You do whatever the team asks you to do to help them win, period. Yeah. And that's what the team is asking Matt Ryan to do right now. And he is taking that responsibility and running with it. Just like Sam is taking the responsibility of being called up to be number one and running with it himself. You know, Frank was absolutely 100% right when he said in the presser, hey, we failed him. Right. Mm-hmm. And that is what it is. Right. We did not provide him the offensive line / run game that was promised. And that really hurt the situation for Matt Ryan to succeed as the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And that's why the Colts are making this move, because they're just not built to win right now with Matt Ryan, especially with the turnovers. And I understand it. And sometimes
that's an expensive tutor, though. Let me tell you right now.
That is a very expensive tutor.
And to your point, hats off to the locker room, hats off to all the players. I mean, awkward situation. You know, I'm sorry, if you have to sit there and have your leadership group come in and break the news to them and let that word reverberate through the team that way, just so they're not taking, that means that this was a sudden emotional, uncharacteristic move. Okay. But that, like I said, I feel like, I mean, unless you got something else, you know, I really feel like it is what it is. You know, this is a team we love and support and stuff, but I really, really hope that this media, you know, and I don't mean they have to go and be disrespectful or do any shock type stuff or get that jerk credit or whatever, you know, like what you got from a certain, you know, guy, you know, last week or whatever it is, but you can still ask the tough questions and do it respectively. And the thing is, Zach Kiefer, KB, Kevin Bowen, look up to you guys. You know, get in front of Irsay, get in front of Ballard, get these guys together and ask these questions, please. Because you know what, this isn't just a year one of this. Okay. We saw something similar at the end of last year with Carson Wentz, different situations as far as the production. But the thing is it was still a surprise. It was still, you know, yes, you had fan base that was torn and this and that. But the thing was there was a lot more from Wentz that said, you know, he's not fitting in than what you get from Ryan. Because there is not a single player that I've heard talk about Matt Ryan or whatever and felt like, hey, this is forced. This is fake. And I'm like I said, kudos to all the Colts. Okay. Those guys really dealt with this crazy situation the best they could. And you could even hear in some of the responses, you know, B-Ball brought it to my attention about how Ryan Kelly was just like, I've got my own thoughts. But it was just, you could tell there was that agitation level with it. And he was just like, so I'm just going to keep my thoughts to myself. Fine. Fair enough.
So, no. Toxic says, does anyone think the demotion of Ryan has changed the thinking amongst the rest of the team? No, because they're still looking to win. All right. No matter what. Like we had this discussion with Rodney. Toxic, you probably know this. You probably watched the Patreon version already. They expect to go out there and play for their jobs, their money. They want to win, right? And so it's not the thinking that has changed. And a lot of guys like, you know, like most of the whole team like Sam, right? I've been told that by a lot of players that, you know, hey, I love Sam. Sam's a great guy. You can love a person as a person, and or you can hate a person as a person, but it's your teammate. You're still there to work. You still have to be a professional and work, whether you like or don't like the guy. So
Yeah, this isn't an either or situation.
uh-uh.
Honestly, I honestly believe that this isn't, oh, if you support Matt Ryan in this situation, then you have to dump all over Sam. No, it's not like that at all. Okay, what I'm saying is these guys have dealt with a crazy situation to the best of their ability, and yeah, I believe that they're going to go out and they're going to play with their hair on fire, just as hard as they would, no matter which one of those two guys or three. Even Nick Foles. This team is close and connected that way. My question is the front office, is the ownership close and connected as I've thought over the last 5 years? And I've defended that, I felt like, oh, this was more of a mutual. Now I'm seeing more tears and more questions that I'm like, I need to know, guys, because I feel like front office is going this way, ownership's going this way, and where do they cross over again? A lot of questions.
Well, we're going to continue these questions right after this. I got to drop a couple ads, guys. Please don't forget to smash that like button. All right. If you haven't done so already, please do so. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We'll be doing the best that we can and getting out some great stuff. I want to give an apology real quick about not having the film rooms out. I do have access to it now. Again, thank you very much, guys. But I've been dealing with personal health issues over the last 2 weeks. So hopefully I will be able to get one out and we could really get down to the nitty gritty on how Sam looks this Sunday next week. Right. But I'm going to drop some on here. Woohoo. All 22. Absolutely, guy. Absolutely.
This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10.
This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. All right. Well, let's see what's going on here. We got a lot of different people in here saying a lot of different stuff. He says, you're always got something going on with you. Stop complaining. Well, when you have COVID 1 week and the next week you're dealing with something maybe worse, it is what it is. My health has not been the best this year. And I'm just trying to fight through it. And
one person's complaining is just letting the rest of the people understand what's going on and why it's happening.
Yeah. That's all I'm doing. But I will make sure that I get all the content out that I possibly can for you guys. Thank you for following. See, now here's the thing. Okay. There's always going to be stands out there, like massive stands. And the world would just not be the world without stands. But hey guys, I appreciate each of you. Let's talk about what do we think our offense is going to look like with Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. All right. I mean, that's a big question. Is there going to be a lot of RPOs in this? I mean, are we going to see a bunch of, I don't know, 2 running back formations, right? And what we've always wanted to see before, back when like Carson Wentz was at quarterback, right? But then, his ankles got hurt and he couldn't run around very well, or he got COVID or whatever happened, last year. Because look, you can't run an RPO very well from shotgun. I mean, you just can't. It's not, it does not work very well. But with Sam under center, and you could run an I formation or a pro T formation or an offset I or whatever it is that you want to run, and you could run a lot of RPOs out of that formation with a rollout even, which would be great for Sam. And I think that could open up the offense a little bit for this team. Do you think that's something that maybe Frank added that 20% in?
I hope so, but I'll tell you right now, I don't know how much of it'll be under center. I mean, you talked about it, 6'1". Matt Pryor, 6'7" or 6'8". I mean, Ryan Kelly is your one little window that you might be able to, but you bring him back in shotgun, and that makes that vision a little bit better. So I don't know that we'll see a lot of Sam under center. I mean, and honestly, it's the unknown, because we've been thinking, oh, now this is the opportunity to see the two running backs. We've thought that multiple times, and very rarely do we get it. So I don't know. I mean, I would sit there and say, yeah, it makes sense. Yes, RPOs, absolutely. I think that's going to be one of those. If you don't see RPOs in this, and I mean, they were trying to get Matt Ryan to run some of these RPOs without the R. I mean, it was just like, if you're pushing it that much with Matt Ryan and stuff, I would sit there and argue that yes, you should almost guarantee see it with Sam Ehlinger and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And some of the great things that we have seen develop over time with Matt Ryan over this past year with the offense, our wide receivers running shorter routes, getting open, getting the ball. You started to see that happen. Is that in and of itself going to maybe take a step back because timing and trust issues, that's going to take time for, Sam to gain that and vice versa with the wide receivers and know where to place the ball. Again, look how it took about 5 weeks before Matt Ryan finally got Paris Campbell's speed down to the point where he's able to be like, oh, I know when to throw the ball to him now. Now he's like my favorite target ever, I don't want to wait 5 more weeks for Sam to finally grow into Paris Campbell, or Pierce or Pittman or anyone, or Granson's had a heck of a season so far. He's had a few games where he's really came out and showed out, and there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve here. And this is where I'm saying this defense of ours, Matt Hawk, first off, you better punt the ball further than 30 yards if you ever have to punt. I'll tell you that. All right. Because, I mean, we're going to need all the help we can in order to make sure that Sam has every opportunity to succeed.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, this just boils down to the players. Okay. This boils down to your offensive line. Are they going to play better ball? Okay. We've seen a little bit of that. But if they don't play any better, it's just going to be more of the same, except you're going to have a younger, more mobile guy, running around and stuff. Thing is these players for some reason have not stepped up to the challenge this year, and that needs answered. To me, that needs answered as soon as possible, because I honestly believe there is going to be that acclimation period. I know we don't want to wait 5-6 weeks for it to happen, but it's human nature. And Sam, he's been in that book. He's been in that playbook for a year plus now. Okay. I feel like he understands it here, but like you said, just getting that connection, just getting that feel and knowing that Alec Pierce wants the ball here instead of here, you know what I mean? And Mike, just finding the nuances and stuff that it is what it is. We're going to have to wait for that to start gelling. But that run game, making this move screams that run game has to take off like yesterday. JT, offensive line, you've got to make this run game happen, okay? You were not there for Matt Ryan. You have to be there for Sam Ehlinger. Because if it doesn't, I mean, draft pick, here we come,
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to let you also know, hey, look, even with their best defensive, maybe the best player on their entire team, Chase Young, right? He's not going to be there this Sunday. He's coming back, maybe. But even without him, this might be the best defensive line that we faced all year. We're talking Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and James Smith-Williams. Those are a very, very good front four. You know, that front defensive line is incredibly good, and that's without Chase Young. Without him. And if our offensive line can't hold up, then our running backs are not going to be able to do what they need to do. And then next thing you know, there's not going to be any passing lanes to throw the football for. And that's you're right on nose. The offensive line absolutely has to continue to play well and make even better than just, you know, what they have, especially last week. So yeah, hopefully with this being the third game in a row that they'll have the same lineup, maybe things will look a little bit better, you know, and we'll continue to grow across that offensive line.
I hope so, because Matt Pryor and Ryan Kelly are going to have to pack their lunch for this game. Like you said, that interior D line for Washington it's formidable. It's a constant pressure. Matt Pryor, take some daggone accountability. You want to sit there and wonder why this team's in this? Right here's why, guy. Okay, you can't continue to sit there and keep being this player that is allowing pressures and not opening up the. You came into this organization as a right guard. You came in and you had your most reps at right guard. Okay, it shouldn't take you that long. I understand you lost a little weight to move over to left tackle, but still, you've got to expect better. You've got to do better. And the thing is it doesn't matter who you have at quarterback. If you don't block them and open up holes for your running game, it's a long day, no matter which team in the NFL, let alone against a team that's this talented in that front four.
A lot of times in the run game, it's more about effort than it is skill. In the run game, it's about getting your effort out there. I will say that with the offensive line, as much as any other position in football, effort will beat skill if skill does not, you know, put forth the effort. You know what I mean? I mean, it is.
And the thing is last week we saw with JT, we started to move the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Wright, 10 carries. Okay, you know, where was the tight ends? The tight ends need to show up. You know, I mean, they really need to show up for Sam to sit there and to obtain any of the goals that you guys still have. And like I said, 3-3-1 is not atrocious. Okay, it's not what we wanted, but honestly, I feel like we're closer to a 5-2 team than a 3-3-1. Whenever you look at, I mean, that play against Rodney McLeod where he blows up the tight end, and then all of a sudden, magic, the ball's just right here. It never was in his hand. It was on his arm, you know.
Yeah, they put the sticky on the back of the glove now.
I know. I mean, there were some plays that you were just like, oh man. And if that play would have happened, or if that, you know, but
if the pick six didn't happen.
Yeah, you know, so like I said, this offensive line has to play better. And I mean all of them. I mean, you guys know I'm a Quentin Nelson. I'm much more than just a Quentin Nelson fan. But I'm talking to you, my guy. Q. You know, please. We need more. You know, I don't know if he's ailing. I mean, you sit there and you see some things. It's like, but man, this is where we're at, and this is what we need. And the thing is that margin for error because of the slow start is so small. Okay, your tiebreakers in the AFC. I mean, you cannot end up in a tie. Fortunately, we have a tie, so that'll help break a lot of those tiebreakers. But if you end up in a tie, you're not going to like what your record says whenever you look at how we've played against the AFC. But if you go out and you start winning games and you start stacking these wins and you start moving the ball and you start – I'm not saying that, you know, I'm expecting Sam to go out there and drop 350. But you know what? Make them respect the pass game. Make them realize that you cannot just sit there and one-dimensionalize this team. That is what this team needs to have any chance to change the goals, because right now it's all about the dubs. It has, I mean, you can look at all the AFC, but you're not going to like I said, the tiebreakers and everything. So you have to get the wins. You have to separate yourself from a lot of the rest of the teams in the league.
I don't know how you're listening for the bad stuff then if you're playing the game and listening to this, but hey, either way, Purity, I appreciate you. My son plays that game. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll probably get into this again tomorrow. Sit down, maybe do a pregame, kind of look over both teams tomorrow. Do some a little bit of analytics to go with it, but honestly, like I said, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic. Someone said earlier in this, that he felt the same way about Carson Wentz last year. I did as well. But I'm kind of in that same boat right now, cautiously optimistic. I'm expecting for it not to be great, but at the same time, I see opportunity for it to be very good. So I would always rather lean towards the positive than the negatives.
Absolutely. A lot of exciting possibilities. I mean, it's not out of the realm to sit there and have Sam come out and this offense start clicking because they're more comfortable with the RPOs and stuff. It's not out of the realm. All I'm saying is I'm excited about it. I just don't like how we got to where we're at now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, what's up, Aunt Rogers? Good to see you there, bub.
Yeah, thanks. Man, I appreciate all of you. 100 of you in here, guys. Thanks so much for being in here. Splash that like button. But yeah, again, my back is absolutely destroying me right now, so I'm going to probably end up killing it here. But we will be back, like I said, tomorrow. Do a little bit of a just kind of going over the game, looking over the Washington team, looking over the Colts team. Great news today about Darius Shaquille Leonard will be on a snap count, but he will be playing, which is nice to see. That gives the opportunity of a turnover.
You look at the injury report for the Colts, or you look at the injury report for the Commanders. Yeah, I almost did.
The Washington football team.
Yeah. But you look at that, and guys, advantage Colts. You know what I mean? So, like I said, the unknown. I mean, as much as we have no idea what we're going to get from Sam Ehlinger, can you imagine being the defensive coordinator trying to game plan this? And I've heard, where they're looking at his college tape, and they're looking at I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't look at anything from Sam from the jump that he had from last year to this year. The only thing I'd be looking at, because it's almost like two different players, is let me see what he looked like this preseason, because that right there is going to give you a much better barometer of what to get. And I am excited. Okay. As much as it may not have sounded like it earlier, I am excited to sit there and see what this new look Colts offense can. And man, let's get some W's. And you know what? Winning makes a lot of things go away.
Yes, it does. And I will talk Loyalist I. Well, I don't know if Loyalist will be here tomorrow or not. Do you have time tomorrow?
Fine time. I'm absolutely here to talk about Colts all day, every day, my guy.
All right. We'll do one tomorrow if my health lives up to it. If not, then Loyalist might be doing it by himself. But hopefully this is day one of me getting better. So until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law. That's Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
Be like me. Don't walk in and just start assuming, okay, when it comes to a situation. All right. It's easy to do. It's easy to fall into that trap. But look, he's a quarterback. Sam Ehlinger is a professional. He would not be on this team if he could not do his job. So he would not be put in this situation if they did not feel as a team that he could do this job. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt until he can prove otherwise. Have a good one, guys.